Greetings, Lucky Legend. My name is Lucky. This is Lucky Lad TV. I'm yours for this video. It's time for Lucky's top 7 favorite competitive Pokemon. Let's get into it! Please note the following. This is how the stats are going to be explained. HP, attack, defense, special attack, special defense, speed, base stat total. That's what BST stands for. And then, of course, you will have... This has nothing to do with viability, tiering, or anything of that sort. It's the Pokemon that I like to use because I think they're good and they fit what I like. They fit how I like to battle. Because, as you know, I battle somewhat differently than most people do, and I team build differently than most people do. I think that I am good at it, and I think that I accomplish what I need to accomplish very well. Or relatively well. I'm not arrogant about it, but, you know, it's one of the more marketable skills that I have. But this has nothing to do with tiering or viability. For example, I hate Landorus Therian. However, it's technically considered the most viable Pokemon in OU because it's on, I think, like 33% of teams. But I hate it because it's so used, and it is the definition of overused. So, you're not going to see the most commonly used Pokemon. Probably not. One of them's probably used pretty often. Or a couple of them are probably used. A few of them are used pretty often, but nothing is like top 5 most used. At least I can't imagine they are. One of them might be, but probably not. So we're gonna get on into this with number 7. Hitmontop. I originally was not planning on having Hitmontop be in this top 7, but I was thinking about Rapid Spinners. Because Rapid Spin is, in my opinion, one of the most, if not the most important move to have on a team. Because Defog gets rid of your own hazards, which sucks. Because you want to keep your own hazards up. And having a reliable Rapid Spinner, reliable meaning it can switch in onto Stealth Rocks multiple times, which means you want it to resist Rock, such as Hitmontop, which does an excellent job of that. As you can see here, Hitmontop also has really nice bulk to it, 110 base special defense and 95 base regular defense. 50 HP is not that great, but it's not bad at all. Just because of the fact that you can have such high defenses with it. Its HP is not that great, but it couples really well with what you can run on Hitmontop. I like Intimidate or Technician. I generally vie for Intimidate because I like to run, and you're gonna see this set. You're gonna see this set at some point while I'm away, because this is going up while I'm away over in New York. I like to run Intimidate with Assault Vest, so you basically go in at +1 and your opponent goes down to -1, so you have... It's basically the same as being at +1/+1. And that's why I like Close Combat on it, because it basically only brings you down to neutral. However, Intimidate Rocky Helmet also makes a very nice set, but Rapid Spin, like I said, it's a very reliable Rapid Spinner. It's the best of the 3 Hitmons in terms of rapid spinning, in my opinion, because Hitmontop is the bulkiest. But now we're going to get into a Pokemon I like even more, at number 6. At number 6 we have Electros, or Electros, whatever you would like to say. And if I am not I'm definitely going to upload the team builder before this, so you would have already seen the Mixed Life Orb Electros, so I don't have to hide any of that stuff from you. I love Mixed Life Orb Electros because Electros is one of very, very, very few Pokemon that have access to more than one Switch Initiative move. There are more Switch Initiative moves than you may think. There's Parting Shot, which is exclusive to Pangoro and Pancham, I believe. You have Baton Pass, which is a lot of Pokemon can learn that. And then you have U-Turn and Volt Switch, which are the main 2 that people think about. U-Turn is obviously better than Volt Switch because nothing is immune to Bug. That doesn't exist. Whereas you can get walled by ground types if you're trying to Volt Switch. However, Electro still has excellent coverage. Hidden Power and Giga Drain, Drain Punch, Knockoff, Super Fang, Flash Cannon, Wild Charge, Flamethrower, Thunderbolt, Coil. Coil is an excellent move. It lets you set up. It raises your attack, your defense, and your accuracy by one stage each. And the Lumberry Coil set is... It's a set that I would be interested in experimenting with. Because with the Lumberry, you'd obviously be immune to status one time. However, Electros is still very slow. So I would think you would need Coil and Substitute just to give yourself that little bit of advantage. However, like I said, number 6. It's not top 5. But we're about to see who is in the top 5. And the first on the list is Arcanine. I love Arcanine. Arcanine is my favorite Pokemon, as you know if you saw Lucky's top 7 favorite Pokemon, which went up so long ago, now that I'm thinking about it. And Arcanine's stats are phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. It has a base stat total of 555. Its Pokédex entry is, or species is, the legendary Pokemon. That is its name. It has access to Intimidate and Flash Fire, both of which are very viable abilities. You of course have the well-known defensive set, which is Intimidate with Rocky Helmet, Will-O-Wisp, Roar. Most likely, I would personally run Flamethrower and probably Hidden Power Grass, just to avoid the, or rather I would run Flamethrower and Extreme Speed, just for the priority. Or you can run a Flash Fire set, you can run a Sunny Day set, like I did on the original bulky method, and it has yet to put in the work that I want it to, but it's still a very viable set. Sunny Day Arcanine, because I was up against a specially defensive Sylveon trying to use the Sunny Day set, and it didn't go so well because Sylveon's way too fat. But Sylveon couldn't really touch me either, so it was kind of, you know, it was a stalemate. But Arcanine's still only number 5 because there are 4 more Pokemon that I like using even more, such as Rotom, and Rotom Wash, and Rotom Fan. Rotom Wash is the only Pokemon on this list that I can honestly say may be in the top 5 most used Pokemon in its tier. It wouldn't surprise me if Rotom was in fact top 5 OU Pokemon because it's only weak to Grass, it has Switch Initiative, it has access to Will-O-Wisp, it's really fat. It's really fat, and it has such good utility. Rotom Fan, on the other hand, has too many weaknesses to really be viable as a Pokemon. However, it makes an excellent Scarfer because it has Air Slash. I don't like the other 3 Rotom forms. Rotom Heat and Rotom Cut, or Rotom Mow, I don't like because their signature attack lowers their special attack by 2 stages, which cuts it in half, which makes it Garbo. And I don't like Rotom Frost because its attack is Blizzard, which is doo-doo butter. Rotom Standard I actually do like, however, because it makes a very good choice Specs user. It's in the NU tier, or maybe even it may even be in the PU tier, and it can easily outspeed a lot of stuff and throw specs onto them and kind of nerf them if they're a physical attacker. Citrus Berry and Leftovers are really just for Rotom Wash, but as you can see, a lot of really good moves to choose from, and of course Volt Switch for Switch Initiative. But not quite in the top 3. We're about to see who is. With Excadrill. Interesting fact. The team that I built in the original bulky method video, a lot of those Pokemon are in this video. As you can see so far, we've already seen Arcanine, we've already seen Rotom Wash, and we've already seen Extradrill now. All 3 of those Pokemon were on the original Bulky Method team. There may even be more Pokemon that are from the original Bulky Method team that are on this list. Because after building that team is when I started falling in love with these Pokemon, except for Arcanine. I already loved Arcanine. But I really started to fall in love with Rotom Wash and Pokemon like Extradrill because I was learning new things about them. For example, Mold Breaker guaranteed to set up your Stealth Rocks, which is really, really, really useful. It also can switch in on Stealth Rocks 33 times because it double resists Rock, assuming you have an odd number of HP. I like to run the Air Balloon set, as you all know, because it gets rid of a ground weakness, and ground is extremely common as an attack type. Like I said, Landorus Therian is on, I think, 33% of all OU teams, and this will give you a good immunity to it. Because most of the time, Lando T is Scarfed. Or Banded, sometimes. Usually Scarfed. And as you can see, Citrus Berry Leftovers, Choice Scarf, Choice Band, those are all viable sets as well. Sandforce and Sandrush are Extradrill's other 2 abilities. I don't really consider them as my favorite ability to run because they're much more suited for doubles. If this was about VGC Pokemon, it would definitely be, those would be on there and Mold Breaker would not. I love Sand Force and Sand Rush. I actually like using Sand Rush and setting up a Swords Dance and then just destroying everything in their face. But you know, that's another story for another day. But that is Extradrill, and now we're gonna see who my second favorite is. And I can tell you, it's close. Mega Blastoise, well, regular Blastoise and Mega Blastoise. I like using both of them a lot. I actually like using, in terms of actually using the Pokemon, I use regular Blastoise more often than Mega Blastoise. The reason being is that regular Blastoise can also be run physical, because as you can see, its attack and special attack are almost the same. Not so with Mega Blastoise. But they're also both very bulky, very reliable, very strong, and I was having such a difficult time deciding whether Blastoise and Mega Blastoise should be number 1 or number 2. And when I do the number 1 Pokemon, I'll explain why I decided that should be number 1 rather than Blastoise. But Blastoise, of course, has access to Rapid Spin, which is, like I said, one of the most important moves in the game. It also has access to Priority in the form of Aqua Jet. It has access to Yawn, which is a lot more useful than you may think because it forces switches. And it has access to Fake Out as well. Mega Blastoise, on the other hand, it does not need Fake Out because its speed stat does not change when it Mega Evolves. Nothing changes when it Mega Evolves except for its, in terms of what matters, its defense, special defense, and special attack are the only thing that matter when you Mega Evolve with it, and those activate first turn. And with Mega Launcher, Water Pulse, Dark Pulse, Aura Sphere, Dragon Pulse, Flash Cannon, Ice Beam, I typically run the first 4 moves on that list. Dragon Pulse I usually don't run unless I have no other Dragon type coverage on the team. And Flash Cannon I usually don't run unless I have no other Steel type coverage on the team. And each of those would be switched out for Ice Beam or Aura Sphere. Water Pulse and Dark Pulse you really need on there because otherwise you get walled like crazy by Jellicent. Jellicent, granted, is in the RU tier, however, it is extremely viable in the higher tiers. As you know, Jellicent was on the original OU Bulky Method team, like I said, in the OU tier, and it did just fine. It almost never dies. It's really bad, because it has recover. It has reliable recovery. Which brings me to the last Pokemon. My favorite competitive Pokemon to use, absolutely of all time. Scizor and Mega Scizor. In this instance, I like using Mega Scizor a lot more than regular Scizor. I'm actually not that huge of a fan of regular Scizor. If I was able to do it, I would say regular Blastoise and Mega Scizor are number 1, and regular Scizor and Mega Blastoise would be number 2. However, the Scizor and Mega Scizor go hand in hand, obviously, and the reason that Scizor and Mega Scizor beat out Blastoise for the number 1 slot is for 2 reasons. Well, 3 reasons, actually, now that I look at it. It has reliable recovery in the form of Roost, it has reliable setup in the form of Swords Dance, and it has reliable switch initiative in the form of U-turn. Those are 3 things that Blastoise just can't. Blastoise can't do that. Blastoise has a better move pool overall, but it doesn't have the utility that Scizor and Mega Scizor have. That's the only thing about it. That said, as you know, well, basically to put it into perspective for you guys, 4 of the 6 Pokemon on the original OU Bulky Method team are on this list because I have fallen in love with them so much. Originally, I wasn't like in love with Mega Scizor. I liked it. It was really good, but I wasn't like in love with it. It wasn't my favorite thing in the world. But it's really grown into one of my favorite Pokemon to use, especially with the set that I have, the Bug Bite, Bullet Punch, Sword Dance, Roost. The really bulky set that I ran, because it doesn't get one-shotted very easily, if at all, and it can very easily set up, roost off damage, and then start bolt punching things to hell and back. The only thing that walls it is a Steel type, and that is why on the original Bulky Method team you had a lot of counters for Steel types. You had Arcanine, you had Scrafty, you had Jellicent, which could handle Steel types because it resists their stab, obviously, and you had Rotom Wash, which also actually double resisted their stab. So I actually don't really fear fire types as much as I do fear Steel types with Hidden Power Fire when I'm using Mega Scizor. But that's going to be the end of this one. Let me know in the comment section, what are some of your favorite Pokemon to use competitively? There are a lot more Pokemon that I wanted to do for this list. I may like revamp this and do my favorite OU Pokemon, my favorite UU Pokemon, RU, NU, etc. Because, for example, there are like 10 Pokemon off the top of my head that I love using, but I don't like using them as much because I really only like using them in the tier that they're in. For example, Mega Gallade I love to use, but you can only use it in OU, and there are a lot other Pokemon that I like using in OU as well. Then you have something like Sandslash. I love Sandslash. It's a great Rapid Spinner, but I don't like bringing it past UU because it gets outsped by Rotom Wash and gets destroyed. So there's like I said, there's potential for more stuff like this. But leave a like rating down below if you enjoyed this video. I really appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel if you can. I know some people can't. Share this video. Share it on Twitter and whatnot. Follow me on Twitter, of course. That's very important. And if you have a channel of your own, apply for FullScreen Partnership. That link is always in the description down below. If you use my referral code and you get accepted, I get a little bit of a bonus. And you also have a referral code, so it helps your chances. Or at least I assume it does. Can't imagine it wouldn't. But, like I said, thanks for watching. I love you guys. I'm going to get out of here because I got to go record a couple more videos before I start packing. But I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.